we only have a handful of receivers and tight ends to get through, and I like the name. I'm intrigued by the one you put up to start here. Amari Cooper, the wide receiver 9, going right around the end of the second round here, 24 overall in ADP's price, Fantasy Pros ADP. The Cowboys did rank first last year in passing yards, but you're still down on their expected number 1, at least, Amari Cooper at that price. Why is that, and kind of who are you looking at instead?
Look, he's not horrible again, right?
Yeah.
Not horrible at all. But he disappeared at times. I think he had the 20-plus or 22-plus in 3 of the first 5. But he only had 2 more 20-point games over the course of the year. And I think in some of the biggest games, why is he on the sidelines at a critical time, right? So maybe that's just stuck in my head. The addition of CeeDee Lamb, a great playmaking receiver, is a bit of a concern. I mean, he's going to make some plays. I don't know if he's going to take all Cooper's plays away. That's not my argument here. Just when I'm drafting a wide receiver that high, I would like to think that he's like a true alpha number 1. And we've seen Cooper be that at times, but does he ever extend it beyond a stretch of games, right? Have we seen that full season? And I think that's maybe a little bit my concern with him.
I think a lot of last year too came down to another big concern with him is the injury risk. It seemed like all those big games early on, week 8, he has that knee injury against the Giants, and maybe that was part of why it tapered off. But I want to be able to that was the reason. And now he's guaranteed a 16-game slate where he's fully healthy, but that's not the case. He's always dinged up, so that certainly has to be baked into his price. I am attracted. Sorry, you go first.
There are some guys in that range. I mean, Kenny Golladay really appeals to me. I think he's top 5 capable guy that I can draft in that same range. Adam Thielen maybe a little less. Allen Robinson I'm big on. DK Metcalf, I like him. I think you mentioned him a couple times. I like him a hell of a lot. I thought, coming off that really impressive rookie season for a guy who can't run routes, he looks pretty damn good, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The one thing I do like about Cooper, I like a lot of those names you shout out even more than him too, so I find myself avoiding him. DJ Moore is the one if I'm going a wide receiver at that range, that's the one I kind of hammer, especially over Cooper. But I like the just vision, and who knows if it will translate that way, of Mike McCarthy, the Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, like that Alpha X. Even when he's had good guys like Cobb and other ones on the side, there always does seem to be that one kind of main vein, and I don't know if he'll carry that over this year. A lot of the concern of CeeDee Lamb and Gallup is very real, 2 very good talents. So will he ever be that true alpha? And if he's not, then why would you take the most expensive one? So I totally get that case. I'm hoping for his sake, if I own him at least, that he does kind of carve out that Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams role. He certainly can run all the full route tree when he's healthy to be able to pull that off, but the health, the inconsistencies, the targets around him, I totally get the argument to why to avoid him, especially with such interesting wide receivers that we just shouted out. And there's still bell cows you can get if you're going to go that running back. There's still Melvin Gordon's often sitting there, some intriguing players. So I feel like we're agreeing on a lot of these, which is nice, even though there's points to make for both sides. The other guys I'm down on, and I don't know if you have a strong argument for any of them, would be JuJu Smith-Schuster, wide receiver 15, 45 overall. I just don't find myself taking any shares right now. Stefon Diggs as well at wide receiver 21, 54 overall. And then Gallup, I think he's the one that gets more hurt by Lamb than necessarily Cooper. So those are guys, he's wide receiver 31, 68, that I find myself also kind of avoiding right now. Is there any of those that you either agree strongly or disagree strongly with?
Yeah, I'd agree with you on Diggs, and that's another classic case where I'm taking the cheaper component. Also, my John Brown addiction knows no bounds. Player I will never quit on.
All about him. Yes, love it.
Right, and so and I just think if you get down to that next range, there's a hell of a lot of guys. If I'm drafting a running back there, that I feel great with. And even if not great, the upside is there, and the price is a little better with the Cortland Suttons, the DeVante Parkers. Look, it wasn't a big sample that we have to hang our hat on, but I do like some of the indications from Parker with the new coaching staff 100%. That maybe he flipped the switch. And you mentioned Terry McLaurin. There's a lot of guys next round. Look, so a guy that I really like, Marquise Brown. And why do I like Marquise Brown? Because last year at this time, I started hearing Baltimore's coaches saying all this crazy stuff about Lamar Jackson, which is why I started investing in him. Why are they saying this about this guy? Why are they saying he's going to revolutionize the way offense is played? I mean, they were really going out on a limb, right? And so I said, well, given the price is pretty good. They're saying similar things about Marquise Brown this year. this guy, this is the year he's going to make a huge step. He's healthy, all these things. So I think at that price, I'm ready to roll the dice on a guy like him instead of a Michael Gallup, who's going at about the same price.
I love all the names you shouted out there, and that's why I'm avoiding these guys. I love the Parker. I know, again, we've all been burned so many times. It's a tough one to get back on board, but I fully love him. I mean, the number 2 wide receiver other than Michael Thomas once Ryan Fitzpatrick took over as the full-time starter. And it was more so what my eyeballs were showing me. I mean, against Stephon Gilmore, putting him in a blender, making the contesting against one of the best, like one of the only guys I saw as a Patriots fan do that all year. He was making those alpha plays. And then a lot of people arguing, well, is Fitzmagic going to be the starter all year? I get it. If he's not, shouldn't that be a good thing? Shouldn't Tua be an upgrade if he's taken over?
Right.
So I love Parker. I get why everyone's hesitant, but at that same range as Juju, that's the guy I would totally have picked as the one. And I love Marquise Brown. I love both those names.
I feel like Juju could rebound because the bar is so low. And Ben, assuming Ben is back, but I'm with you. I don't have any shares yet. And I'm in a lot of drafts.
I think the rebound is baked into the price. Like wide receiver 15, sure, he's not going second round like he was last year, but wide receiver 15 is still pretty high. That's like a low end 1, high end 2, similar to DJ Moore's and some of again, DeVante Parker I'd rather have, who goes 2 rounds later. You're buying this huge rebound from Big Ben, the entire offense. I mean, this is a guy that's just openly been admitting to like having some problems throughout the offseason, and his arm just kind of fell off in 1 week last year. And I don't want to say the guy's done. He's been fun to watch this entire career. But if his arm falls off week 1 again next year, Juju didn't show that he was QB. Whereas you see Hopkins performing with like TJ Yates, you'd hope Juju was kind of QB proof, and he just didn't prove to be that guy, which makes me nervous, especially with Deontay Johnson and some guys emerging around him. So yeah, I'm off him. I love the DeVante Parker as a guy to pivot to as a similar price point. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.